Hello, everybody. Joe Malone here, coming to you live on Dallas Trading Floor. I seem to have trouble with my. Let's see if that'll work. Oh, goodness gracious, that didn't. That didn't work there. I'm always having issues. It seems like starting the. Let's see if I can get this to go back. Okay, let's just start over. Start over. Okay. I'm working on getting my TikTok up here. Hopefully, I'll have that up here in a second. It it balked. I got a balk here, which is common for me actually. There we go. Okay, so this is live. Try it again. Let's see if I can get it up this time. Thanks for holding here. Come on. Come on, come on, come on. There we go. All right. There. Okay, so we're we're on TikTok and we're on YouTube and we're on I think Periscope as well as uh, TikTok, Periscope, YouTube, uh, Facebook. I think we're all. I think we're on all of those things now. Anyways, thanks for bearing with me here. I just wanted to kind of get into it. Happy Monday, everybody. We're coming into earnings week. This is a big week for earnings. I did sell my. I did sell my. My one of my positions in Microsoft coming into earnings. It's not because of Microsoft is weak. Microsoft is a great stock. They're probably going to do great on earnings. I just wanted to lock in some profits before earnings because it could pull back a little bit. I probably will be back in to the stock. I also bought a IPO today, which is unusual for me because I'm not usually a big IPO buyer, but it seems to be doing well. It's Doximity. DOCS is the symbol. So let's, without further ado, let's get into some of the slides. And of course, earnings season is beginning. Basically, we're going to have some very big earnings announcements. So we're going to have Apple this week, of course, Microsoft basically tomorrow, I guess. Just a ton of them. But we seem to be, interestingly enough, the market has changed from a market trend under pressure. Hopefully, you got the email this morning about the market change. The market has changed once again from a market trend under pressure to a confirmed uptrend. And when the market goes into a confirmed uptrend like this, it's a good time to start, possibly moving back into the market. If you do have some cash like I do, I'm just looking for homes for this right now and getting in there in the right way. Don't go in too heavily because it's still is a little bit of a it's pulling back and it's kind of a sideways right now, sideways market, but the market is still in a confirmed uptrend and it's up today just slightly, not a lot. The Nasdaq is at 14,836.37. The S&P is up a little bit, not very much, just 0.20%. The Dow Jones, of course, is up a little bit, and there's also a little bit of movement on the New York Stock Exchange. The volume is, it's up, but it's just pretty fairly weak. So, not a whole huge amount of stuff going on there. Interestingly enough, there's a stock of the day. I just kind of wanted to show it to you. It's an IPO, and again, I'm not in this one. Not a recommendation, but it's kind of interesting. It's off an IPO base. Which basically IPOs will pull down and then they'll pull up and then they'll kind of do this U shape. And this one is, it's got a composite rate of 47, a little bit low for me. I decided to go with Doximity DOCS instead. Just I think it's a little bit stronger than this one. But interesting stock, nevertheless. Just wanted to kind of show it to you. Here's what I'm currently in. The stocks that I have throughout my portfolios. I'm probably in a little too many names. Typically, I'm going to try to cut this down maybe to 8 to 10 names. I don't like to be in this many names, but I'm just sort of kind of going through the stocks and seeing which ones I'll keep and which ones I won't. I'm in Apple. It's down a little. It's actually it's up a little bit today, 0.88. Not a lot. It's at 149. Seems to be some resistance here, but we'll see. Expecting extremely good earnings for Apple. That's probably going to happen this next week. Now, here's the thing with Apple: even though they're expecting some extremely good earnings, it's very likely that we may see we may see some different, we may see it pull back because here's the thing about here's the thing about Apple. It's one of the most highly owned stocks out there, and a lot is anticipated on it. So it's a kind of a buy on rumor, sell on news. Even though I think the news is going to be great, I'm probably going to be trimming my position coming into earnings. We're not. I don't think we're earnings are on Thursday, but it is up today. CrowdStrike's off a little bit, off about $3.63. Nothing serious, but low volume again. So none of these really, not a lot of conviction with these names because of the volume here. DocuSign is off. I'm still very bullish on DocuSign. This one I've been continuing to build a position in. L Brands is another one I'm in. It's off 71 cents, but this area, this retail apparel shoes area, very good area. Another stock I'm looking at in this area, though I'm not an owner yet, is Burlington Coat Factory. Burlington Coat Factory, BURL. That's another one you might want to look at in this very, very good sector. It's 7 out of 197 in terms of the sectors. PayPal's off a little bit. Again, I've been acquiring PayPal. Nike I'm in as well. I'm off a little bit on this one. Pretty much all across the board. Lithium Motors, of course, this along with AutoNation, two of the big retail automobile dealerships. There seems to be a retail kind of theme going on right now, at least in my portfolios. Just kind of want to point that out. NVIDIA, we're off a little bit, but I'm still very bullish on NVIDIA. I do think we're going to be moving beyond about $200 a share, but we'll see. NVIDIA's had a huge run. And I'm still holding the stock. It hasn't really faltered yet. We'll see on that. I did acquire last week. I did acquire Robert Half, and this is an area that's doing very well. The staffing area, Robert Half, RHI, very good company. 93.41 is the price on, up about 50 cents today. Also, almost about a 0.5% price change. Low volume on it, but good fundamentals. Snap, of course, I have a spread on Snap, and as well as owning the shares. It's down a little bit today, not a whole lot, but it's up in terms of volume, 193. So it's almost double the volume. So we'll see what happens there. And again, this is the one I've just bought today. Doximity, it's up $4.96. And the price changed about 8%. So pretty strong on this one. We'll see how this one does. I'm actually up on it a little bit today. I did buy it right at the buy point. The buy point being 65.42. So I did buy it right at the buy point, but we're down a little bit on volume. So who knows what's going to happen there. Just want to kind of show you the allocation in the small portfolio and give you kind of ideas. As I said, I did sell my position in Microsoft. I took about a 5% gain on it in about 30 days. I typically like to do that if I'm coming into earnings. If I'm not up 10%, I like to take my profits while I can and then see how it trades through earnings. Currently, I'm up about 8% on Nike, and I've held that one almost 30 days, so it's doing pretty well. DocuSign, of course, I've been in that for a while, up about 7%. I've been in there about a month as well. Apple, of course, I've been in Apple a little bit longer, it's up 5%. Maybe trimming on Apple, just don't know yet. Doximity, of course, this is the one I bought today. It's up about 1%. Even on Robert Half, I bought that on Friday. And then I'm down a little bit, 1% on NVIDIA, but this kind of gives you the breakout. I do have, I basically do have, I don't have, this doesn't include the cash in the portfolio. I didn't, but there is, this is the layout as it stands now. So thanks for holding on there. Let's get to some of the questions. And let's go over here. There we go. All right. Let's see. Oh, thank you. Looking forward to catching you at Discord. Subscribe. Thank you, man. Thank you so very, very much. And by the way, if anybody's interested in, possibly the Discord, basically it's pretty good. We go through the week. We try to show you all the trades that basically I'm doing, that kind of thing. It's real easy to get to that. All you have to do if you want to sign up for the Discord room is go to www.dallastradingfloor.com, and then you'll see the top one is the action trade alerts, and I sent one of those out today. That's basically that's the free side. And then if you want to get a daily Discord room where we have a group of traders that are all trading and doing good things in there, making money, that's also available. Just go to www.dallastradingfloor.com. And if you're looking on TikTok, super easy. Just go to my profile, click the link, and you'll see exactly where the Discord. Just scroll down to where it says Discord. Just hit on that, and you'll be good to go. But thanks for thanks for taking a look at thanks for taking a look at the Discord room. Really appreciate it. And hopefully we can get you making some money. And that's the main thing that we're all about. So let's see. Shots on Shopify and NVIDIA. All right, let's take a look at Shop. Shop has been incredibly strong. One of these days they're going to have to split it. But right now, it just seems to be going and going. So I just can't really. There we go. Let's pull this up, and I'll get Shopify right in a sec. Pull it up on the tools. There we go. All right. A little bit of a bandwidth issue here, and hopefully we'll get the bandwidth back in just a second. There we go. And share out that screen. All right. Basically, Shopify has pulled back to the top of the buy zone. The buy zone on Shopify is basically the top of the buy zone is right here at about 1574, 1575. So we're about $10 above that. Now you could buy it at this level, but I kind of would be a little bit hesitant, only because I do think we're seeing a handle here, and we may pull back even more. Now we have come through earnings, and earnings is in 2 days. So here's the thing about Shopify. I probably would not buy this one into earnings, just because it's a higher risk, and it seems to be pulling back a little bit before earnings. We will get earnings basically after Wednesday. So here's what I would do on Shopify. I think you need to hold this. If you're up 7% on this, and if you're up 10% or so, 7 to 10% on this one, I would consider holding it through earnings. But if you're not up that much, I would consider selling it right now and waiting to see how the earnings go, because we could see a pullback on earnings. I'm not saying we're going to, because I think the earnings are going to be very strong, but that's a possibility. So here's the thing about Shopify. I think you want to protect your earnings, and that would be, and the way, of course, you can do that is by selling into earnings. So that's what I would recommend. Now, I wouldn't sell right now, and it's down about $60. Here's the thing. I do think that we're probably going to see a pullback, even if they have good earnings, and I do expect Shopify to have some very, very good earnings, and I want to see how the 5-minute chart's trading. But as you can see, we're trending a little bit downward here. So and we're starting to see a little bit of selling action. What I would recommend with Shopify is, depending on how much you're up, depending on where you bought it, that's always the key as to where you bought it. But if you bought it at the buy point, I would consider possibly selling it into earnings. That would be my guess on it, would be to sell it into earnings if you had bought it at the buy point. The buy point, of course, being $14.9975, or about $1,500. If you've bought it there, then I would take my profits. But if you're up more than 10%, if, for instance, you bought it way back down at the prior buy point at 11.46, which, if you did, congratulations, that's an excellent deal. Then I think I would consider selling it, and not going through earnings with it. Let's look at NVIDIA, and of course, as everybody knows, I hold NVIDIA. It's pulled back a little bit today, but NVIDIA. Let's see if I can pull that away. There we go. NVIDIA currently is at 192.32. And it does seem to be, it seems to pulled out of this channel. I put the channel in, so I kind of want to look at the 5-minute chart to see sort of how it's okay. So it's settled here right about 192. It does look like it's getting some support there. My guess on this one is to probably, let's see if it bounces off the 21-day line. The 21-day line, of course, is this green line here, and I'm going to put my cursor right on it. It's at about 192. So if we get support here, and I do think we are getting support here, I'm looking at this right now. This does, when they're close together like this does show support. So I do think we're getting a bounce at the 192 level. So here's the thing: if this is not necessarily the greatest place to enter the trade, but if you're in the trade, I would hold it, because I do think we're going to get a bounce up on this in the next few days based on this chart. But we will see. Currently, the relative strength is 90, which is good. Let's look at the checklist, see how it's doing. Yeah, it's got 100% checklist. So I'm still very bullish on NVIDIA, and I have, and I've been building a position. What I did is I sold all of my NVIDIA into the split, which of course happened on July 19th. It split 4-for-1. I did sell everything, but then I started moving back in when we bounced and we moved back higher. So I do think that NVIDIA is likely to move higher, but right now it's pulling back. So be a little bit careful on your entries here. But I do think that it's still looking pretty darn good. I mean, NVIDIA is still looking pretty good, pretty darn good. Okay, and this is from Kyle. What sectors are the strongest at the moment? Well, what I did is I took a look at that, and let me kind of show you. Let's kind of look at the sectors in real time here. I'm going to go ahead and put up the sector chart here, and this is going to give us an idea of where we're the strongest. So basically, this is the list of the sectors currently, and basically I'm going to show it from top to bottom. And the number one sector right now in the market is this oil and gas, but it's been there for a while. What we're really looking to see right now is the sectors that have improved the most. And one of the areas that I've been particularly concentrating on here, for some reason, this retail shoes shoes and accessories area seems to be doing very well. Why, I don't know, but it has been. Another area that seems to have been is doing well is this financial services specialty area. It's very much improved. It's currently 17 out, and just 3 months ago it was 65, and 6 months ago it was 164. So there's a lot of movement in this area. So let's take a look at this financial services area and kind of get an idea. And I don't know why this is so strong. This is where we want to take a look. Now, there are some interesting ones in here, like Fidelity National Title, Fiserv. I don't really have anything in here. I'm still trying to figure out what is buyable in this sector. But let's take a look at Fidelity. There just seems to be a lot of interest in this area, and I don't know why that is the case. And I don't really have a good idea for you. Currently, though, I am in PayPal, and that area has been doing well as well. I want to kind of show you the PayPal chart here. Let's see. Let's go big on this. Yeah, we're still in the buy zone on PayPal, even though it's pulled back a tad today. This area is credit cards and financing, 79 out of 197, but it's much improved. Now, I am not bullish on everything in this sector, but I do like PayPal because it seems to be doing very, very well. The ownership, of course, is excellent, and the checklist is excellent. It's a 100% checklist on this, by the way, and it's in the buy zone. So my guess is that this is one of the top performing sectors. Let's take a look at some of the other ones in the sector. It's going to kind of give us an idea. And this kind of gives us an idea. Square, of course, is in there, PayPal. So this is another one that we might want to take a look at. Square just came through earnings, so and it's above its trend line, but it's really below a buy point. So let's see if we can look at Square here. Yeah, and Square is basically earnings in about 10 days. This is one that has that definitely, I'm going to reactivate this trend line, but this is the trend line for Square. Now, the buy point for Square is basically up here at 283, but it has reversed and it's moving higher. So possibly we could start trying to move into Square right now. This is doing quite well. Also, it has 100% checklist. These are the kind of what I'm looking for. I'm looking for these really good setups, in stocks. Right now, of course, I'm in PayPal. I'm also looking possibly to go into Square. Even though it's down today, I probably wouldn't be a buyer today. Wait until it reverses higher. But I do think that Square is one that is going to be doing better in the near future. And it has reversed. So that's one that you might want to kind of take a look at. Oh, okay, great. Snap. Do you think it will pull back or run higher? Good question. I have a spread on Snap. Snap has been has had some it has pretty interesting action. Here's the chart for Snap. I basically came in with a bull put spread on this. I did I went in with a bull put spread. We pulled back a little bit. We're still in this buy zone, so it seems to be getting some very good support. The support for Snap is 73.59. We did have some selling today going on, but the earnings were spectacular. So I do expect that. I think it's going to hold the gap. I think it's going to hold the gap up, depending on how we close today. But I do think it's going to hold the gap up. And if it does, then I think Snap is going to go higher. Now, if it wasn't going to hold, it would have pulled through. It would have pulled below 73.59, but it seems to be holding at 76.42. So my guess is it's probably going to hold and go higher. These are terrific earnings per share. Also, not quite as good a checklist as Square or PayPal, but still very, very good at 89. So that's pretty good for Snap. So I'm still pretty bullish on Snap. And yeah, I mean, I think it's a good one. It's a good one right now. Let's take a look. It's people from TikTok. Let's see. EEM. This is a question from PayPal. EEM. Let's look at EEM really quick. I am not familiar with this stock. Okay. Yeah, this is emerging markets. It's an iShares. It's basically a ETF. It looks as if the ETF has fallen to the bottom of the consolidation. Currently, this is in a downtrend. EEF is in a downtrend. So at this point, I probably would not be a buyer. The relative strength is 38. I think possibly this is probably not a good time to be buying this one. So EEF, which is iShares Emerging Markets. It seems to be down. I really wouldn't be buying this one. I think you might want to look at something like the FFIV. This is the, let's see if I can get this up. FFTN. You might, if you're looking for a growth ETF, FFTY probably is one you want to take a look at. And this is the Innovator IBD 50. I like this one a lot. This one is in a consolidation in an uptrend currently, but it has been moving. The trend line on it has been decidedly down. So I'm gonna put a trend line there. Yeah, it's been decidedly down, but it looks like it's going to. And I'm going to put an alert on that line because if it pulls above that line, then this is a reversal. So currently it is a sideways pattern on FFTY, but it looks like it's just getting ready to break the trend. So if you're looking for an ETF, this one might be one that you'd be interested in. Now, here's the thing about that: I would only buy it if it closes above 46. Right now, it's at 45, 44. So it's not as powerful as it needs to be. Okay, great. Your thoughts on UPS and Target? Wow, these are two that are going to announce as well. Look at UPS. I think UPS is going to have some strong earnings. Yeah, it's looking like it. Let's go to the weekly chart. UPS is sort of a slow and sure wins the race. Last quarter they did incredible. They were up, sales were up 27%, but profits were up 141%, which is amazing considering the size of UPS. It's a huge company. We're right below the buy zone on this one, so strictly speaking, I wouldn't be a buyer here, but I would be interested in possibly getting in early on this one. I'm going to set an alert on the reversal line here. Basically, if it moves above this line, then it will be in a buy zone. I'm not so sure I would be. I definitely am not going to be a buyer at today, because we're one day in front of earnings. So I probably wouldn't be a buyer. I do expect though that we should see we should see it move up after earnings. If you want to take advantage of this one, the way to do it is with a buy stop limit order. Set a buy stop limit order. Now I don't have one on currently, but if I were going to be taking advantage of this, what I would do is I would set a buy stop limit order with the limit being at 214.50, and then the stop at 214.50, and then the limit at 214.60. I would buy it above about 214.60. That's where I would buy UPS. But right now, it not a good time to buy into the earnings. Wait for the earnings. The earnings should be very good. And then if we get a wrap up, you want to buy it as with a buy stop limit order, because that will give you a buy when it's moving higher. Now, Target is very far extended going into earnings. It's basically in 23 days for Target. Target is looking very, very good, but there's really no place to buy it right now. Right now, the only real place you could buy it would be off if it touched the 50-day line. Currently, the 50-day line is at 44.13, and we are extended above the 40-day line about 29%. So really, Target looks very, very good. It's not a really good. There's no real good place to buy it though. The last real formation that you could buy it off of was a double bottom formation, basically at 196.25, but it's currently trading 206.33. So Target is unfortunately just a little bit too extended right now to buy. It's a very good stock. It's moving very nicely, but it's not really a good base on it. That's my concern. And in this market, even though we're in a confirmed uptrend, we still have to be very careful where we buy, because if we buy too extended above these buy points, then when we get pullbacks, they can be very, very severe. So I would be very careful about that. Very careful buying Target. All right, question about Lucid. It went public today. Here's the thing about Lucid. I think it's trading under CCIV. I'm not sure. Let's look. I'm very dubious about this. Let's see if it says there was a problem. Okay, let's try it again. CCIV. Let's see if I get. No, it doesn't like it. So I just look at the symbol here. UCI symbol. Not sure what symbol it's trading under. LCID. Yeah, that's it. Okay, let's look at LCID. The problem I see with this company is that they have not produced a car yet. And it's not like it was a few years ago. It's not like it was 15 years ago when Tesla started. I mean, they've actually produced cars. So I'm really not that excited about it, to be honest with you. I think there's a lot of competition in that space, and I just think it's I would wait. It's just not time for them. I mean, wait at least 3 months. Why is Bitcoin? Good question. I wish I knew. Bitcoin is in a. It seems like it's in this trading range, and let's see if I can get a price here. Yeah. Bitcoin is in this trading range, and it does appear to be at the top of its trading range. So let's look at the year chart on it. We're still kind of in the doldrums here. Back in April, it made an all-time high at 61, but since then it's been sort of trading down as low as 29.30 up to about 40. So it seems to be in this channel between about 30 and 40,000. And I don't know. It's a good question why it's trading up today. I can't really tell. Um, but I just don't think Bitcoin is under a lot of pressure from the Chinese government. So they may have loosened up a little bit. I just can't tell you. But here's the thing: I probably would not be a buyer of Bitcoin until it moves above 40,000. Now, let's check into the GBTC, the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. This is it does look like there's been a reversal on it. This is the proxy that I use for Bitcoin. As you can see, it pulled up. So this is very, very interesting. This is the weekly chart. So it appears that we definitely have a reversal. Okay, so that tells us something. So we might be able to get back in. It looks like this is it still has the death cross though. I don't know. I'm a little bit dubious on this altogether. But we definitely had this beautiful spike up here, and if it could pull above the, if it can pull above the 50-day line, 34.96 on the GBTC, then we might have something. This might be a place to get in. Now, I would not buy the Bitcoin directly. I would consider buying GBTC, the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, but only if it moves above the 200-day moving average. Now, why do I say the GBTC? The GBTC controls about 4% of the world's Bitcoin. It's an ETF, and you can get in and out of it much easier than you can Bitcoin. So that's a way to trade it. That is a way to trade it as well. So let's see. Question. The sectors. Okay. Oh, thank you, Kate, very much. Up 8.33% hold to sell. Here's the thing. I sold mine today. I wasn't up quite as much as you were, Kate. I sold it. The reason is that I typically like to have at least a 10% profit cushion going into earnings. But I think that you're up pretty well, 8.39%. Here's the thing. Microsoft is not an extremely fast mover. So I think that if you did sell and take profits here and then jumped back in, you might miss a little bit of a profit, but that might be a way to safely preserve your very, very nice gain. This is what I typically like to do. I typically like to sell. I typically like to sell coming into earnings. Let me just show you what I did in the small portfolio. I just kind of want to show you what I did today. And maybe I did sell too early, but I definitely wanted to lock in the profits. And I'm going to put this up on the screen here. Hold on. This should take a second for it to give me a full reading here. Okay. Still waiting to come in here. There we go. I want to kind of look at my buys and sells. Okay, so basically what I did here, as you can see, I just sold Microsoft, and I just had a very small. This is in the small part, a very small amount, but I was up about 5%, and I took the gain on it. I do like to preserve gains like this. Now, I always say people, let your winners run. I agree with that, but earnings can have wicked pullbacks. I think I would probably recommend for your case, because you've done so well on Microsoft, sell half your position, keep half your position, and then if it bounces up, then buy back what you've got. But I just think that you need to lock in some profits. I think it's probably prudent to lock in profits. I really think that would be a good idea in your particular case. Snap, do you think it will pull back or run higher? Well, I think Snap is holding very, very well. I have a put spread on it right now. And I think that it is holding quite well. Even though it is a bit down today, as you can see, it's still very much in that buy zone. So Let's go to the 5-minute chart to see kind of how it's trading. It's trading very, very well. I mean, if you look at it, I mean, it's trading in a very tight range from about 75 up to 79. So it's looking pretty strong. I think it's going to continue higher. I think it's going to get some footing based on where it is. I think it's going to get some footing because it did gap up. So but I do think it's going to be strong. So I wouldn't be a seller of Snap right now. As a matter of fact, I'd probably be a buyer. It's one of the ones. It's on my buy list definitely. CLR. Let's look at CLR. Let's see if we can. Oh, Continental Resources. Okay, this is a good one too. It looks like it's bounced. This, of course, is an oil patch play. Currently, it's at 35.34. It looks like it's bounced. It's just slightly above the buy range. Oh, that's so frustrating. It went up. The perfect buy would have been about 32.39. It moved up. This is by the way, this is a classic example of why when you get to about 20% profit, and this definitely did. The proper buy point on this basically was back at the end of April. Here it was about April 30th, April 29th. The ideal buy would have been at 32.50, and then it moved down a little bit, and then it moved up. It moved up 20%. This was the proper place to sell it. When you get 20% profit, that's when you want to consider lightening up or possibly selling. 20 to 25% profit. It's just that stocks typically take a rest there. I mean, you can always buy back in, but this would have been a perfect one if you had bought it at 30 to ride it up. Now, I wouldn't, if I had ridden it all the way back down, I would be in it now because it looks as if it's reversing higher. It looks like it's going to pull above that 21-day line. So right now I'd be a holder of it. It just depends on where you entered it. And that's so important. But if you did buy at the proper buy point, 32.39, then you would have had a 20% gain here. And then you might have gotten shaken out though because you were down more. You would have been down more than 8% here. So really tough to this. This was a tough one. This was a tough one. Still really like the stock though. This is Harold Ham's company, and he is one of the big shale operators up in North Dakota. So very interesting company. All right. We have a question about. Let's see question here. We have a question about OCEN. OCEN. Don't know this company. OGEN. All right. Organics develops health products. Okay, this is a penny stock. I would not recommend this one for anybody out there. I just would not. I just wouldn't recommend this one. I know that it's very tempting to buy stocks under $10. That's how I started out, and I spent a lot of time losing money doing that. I just don't think this is a good stock. Sorry to say this. I mean, I'm not trying to puncture anybody's, but this is trading below the 200-day line. You just don't get out of it. Find a better stock. There's plenty of other good stocks there. It's better to buy smaller amounts of a better stock than buy a lot of a bad stock. And I think that's kind of what this is. It's kind of a bad stock, and I just don't think you want it. Just not the place to be, I don't think, right now. All right. Okay. NVIDIA. Let's look at I think we did NVIDIA before. I'll come back to that. Let's see. What do you think about Lucid and went public today? Not so much. There's a lot of competition. Bitcoin. Okay. Bitcoin. I think this is a bull trap, by the way. Thank you, Sunil. I think you're very smart about this one. I think this is a bull trap. I am not. I think we're going to see some more damage in Bitcoin before it gets better. I think you're absolutely right about that. Let's look at Facebook. Now, Facebook is a different story. Facebook is a monster, and it's very good time probably to take a look at a position in it. I don't have a position in it. I'm trying to figure it out. I did send this out today Facebook is basically setting up for, it already gapped up. The earnings are going to just be huge on this. It's got an 84 rating. There's a lot of accumulation going on. This one could break out and break out strong. It's got a 100% checklist. So this is the kind of thing where I don't necessarily, I only want to buy it on uptick. I don't want to buy it until after earnings, but right after earnings, if this is good, I think you want to buy it. This is definitely a buy, but don't buy it into earnings. Wait for the earnings. Let's see how the earnings are. Buy it when it comes out of the gate on Friday, and this is going to be powerful. I just have a feeling that Facebook is going to just going to blow doors. I mean, it's just looking very, very strong on this. So here's the thing. I would wait. Let's wait for the setup on this one. This has got a 100% checklist. I'm very, very confident with an increasing relative strength line. I think the earnings are going to be incredible, and I think this one is going to be very, very good. So I'm getting ready to put a buy stop limit order on this one, and so keep apprised here, because I probably will be buying this after earnings on Facebook, because this one is just it's a monster, and it's probably going to get better. That's all I really can say. I like the stock a lot. Do you think the Fed will affect the market Wednesday? Sure, absolutely. They always do. I do think that we're going to see a lot more inflation, so it's going to be tough. I mean, that's you're going to see a lot more profitability probably in some of the retail stocks, but yeah, I mean, I do think we're going to see a lot more inflation, and but which way that'll go, I don't know. But I do think there's certain things that are, that are big. I mean, there's certain kind of stocks that are going to do well. I think you really ought to look at Facebook, because Facebook is setting up very, very, very well right now. It's an expensive stock, but you don't have to buy it that many shares of it. So that's kind of my thought. What's the IPO lockup expiration? Well, I just don't know on that exactly. I don't know on that. It's a good question. I did buy a recent IPO today. I normally don't buy them, but I did buy this one. It's DOCS, DOCS. I want to look at that symbol really quickly here. DOCS. I did buy this one this morning. It's unusual for me to buy IPOs. I'm not a huge IPO fan, but this one was looking pretty darn good. It is coming into earnings in 15 days, so I may be bailing on this one depending on how well it does. It's got a 67 checklist. This is my minimum, but it's looking pretty darn good coming into this, called DOCS, Doximity, and I do think it's going to trade up before earnings. But who knows what earnings will be? I think the earnings are going to be very good. It's a positive. It's not a negative cash flow company, so that's one that is a good thing to go. Let's look at Coca-Cola. This is the ultimate Warren Buffett stock. Set and forget. I think that might have worked well, a few years ago. I'm not so sure right now. It's right at a buy zone, though. I mean, this is Coca-Cola. It's very, very stable. It moves like pennies a day. Not a lot. Let's look at it. Yeah, I mean, it's not very volatile, and it definitely has So I guess yeah, there goes after hours. Okay, so basically after hours. No, it went up. It went down 5 cents. So nothing really exciting here. It is currently in a buy zone, though. The correct place to buy this is at 58.46. It's right here. That is the correct place to buy it. So it looks pretty decent. It's not my cup of tea typically. Earnings were nice, 62% up. Very, very nice. Checklist, 78%. So it's looking good, but not really one of my favorite areas of the market, though it is improving. I mean, non-alcoholic beverages, there seems to be money moving into the market. So, I'm not against KO. I'm not against KO. I'm just not in it currently. But it's not a bad place to park money. It's definitely a dividend stock, and it does pay very, very good dividends, and that is hard to find. It's hard to find dividend aristocrats like this. Cash flow is very nice on the stock, so if you're looking for income, this might not be a bad play. I mean, it does have a good return. Return on equity is 44%. So you can't beat that hardly. So that's not bad. That's not bad. So it's definitely a good income stock, and definitely like it. Let's look at Tesla, and this one is going to be going through earnings now. Hopefully, I'll get my picture back here. Hopefully, in a second. There we go. All right, Tesla, TSLA, of course. Um, and I just want to see how it traded into the close today. It's fairly volatile, but it's a lot less volatile now than it was prior to coming into the S&P 500. Did trade up at the end of the day. Interesting. There was a spike up at the end of the day. So it's definitely somebody's interested in it. Some nice volume. I can't really say. We're just the most important thing with Tesla is to see how it trades through earnings. That's really the key. It if we draw the reversal line, I think we really have to. Through 700, it's still trending lower. I'm going to set that alert line on that. It's still trending lower based on the highs. So yeah, I just think we got to take a wait see. Let's see how it goes through earnings. I don't have any position in Tesla right now. Don't have any Tesla. Hey Jim, what do you think about Open Door Technologies? Open. I think here's the thing about the real estate market. I think people are going to be very surprised in the real estate market. I do think we're going to get in about 6 months to a year's time. Right now, there's not enough houses out there, but I think that we're going to get a slowdown in the market like you read about. I do not like this chart at all. Take a look at it, Enrique. This is a downward trending chart. You don't want to buy a chart like this. You just don't want to buy a chart like this because you see it's going in the wrong direction. See how it's moving down? See how this is moving down? You don't want to buy this chart. It's below this black line. That's called the 200-day line. So this is absolutely a no buy right here. Skip it. Really, this is one. Don't buy this one. Skip it. Don't buy this stock. No, I'm sorry to be so harsh on this, but you just don't want to buy anything like this. Oops. You don't want to buy this one because it is absolutely in the wrong it's absolutely in the wrong trend. Its trending is down, Enrique, and it's just not where you want to be. It's not where you want to be. So here's the thing with Open Door Technologies. I think you don't want to buy this one. Maybe you want to have them buy your house, but I don't think you want to buy this stock. I just don't think you want to buy this stock. It doesn't look good to me. Does not look good to me. All right. Hi, Jim. What do you think of Apple and AMD? Let's look at, Apple, I think is going to have great earnings. I think they're going to blow out earnings. But I may lighten up on my positions on Apple just because I want to lock in some of the gains. Now, AMD is a different story. It's funny. I've never made money with AMD. I've never really made money with AMD. It's set up very, very nicely. Currently, still not at a buy point though. AMD is right below this 95.44 level. This is the buy point on it. It's currently below that. It's with a cup with handle formation in earnings there in one day. You know what? I would skip AMD. AMD has a history of pulling back after earnings. So here's the thing with AMD. I would recommend not buying it into earnings. See how it trades. If it gaps up, then I would buy it, but I would not buy it if it didn't. It's just, I think you could get burned on this one. Right now, the semiconductor group is not the greatest. The fabless group, it's 125 out of 197. So this group, though it's powerful, is still not doing as well as we would like to see it. So I would not be a buyer of AMD right now. I'd wait for earnings and see how that went. Okay, question. Hey, thanks, Rio Madrid. You're looking, of course, at Zim, and Zim is the lowest possible support level. Do you think, if you like, here's the thing. I think that the bulk transport sector has run its course. It's still in a down. It's in a downward trend. I probably would not be an owner of Zim right now. I just, even though it does have this high relative strength, there's a lot of selling going on. I just don't. I think it's going lower. So I probably would not be an owner of Zim right now. I just wouldn't. Doesn't look good to me. I mean, there's other better opportunities right now than Zim. There really are. All right, what's your take on Moderna? And of course, that's mRNA. Moderna has done really well. I owned Moderna about a year ago, and I did well on it, and I sold it, but I haven't been able to. I haven't gotten back in. It's just unfortunately there's just really not a buy point on Moderna. The last real buy point on it was back here at 189, and that was basically back. If you can believe it, that was basically back at the beginning of June. So that was the last time that really you could enter Moderna. Since then, it's sort of moved up just crazily. Here's the thing: I do think that you've got to wait on this for it to form a base, and I know I don't. With earnings in 10 days, I think you just got to be super careful here, Blake. I would not be a buyer. I know that this one could just possibly go to the moon, but I'm looking at this. I'm like, there's no base. I want to see a base on this one. So my advice on Moderna would be I'd probably pass on Moderna. I probably would pass on Moderna, even though great stock. It's a great stock, but it's just there's no real good entry place into that. Do you think tomorrow will be good buy for Zim long term? I think you just want to, stop loss at 33. Okay, let's look back at Zim again. I think most likely, based on this chart, you're going to see Zim pull back on earnings. So I probably would not be a buyer of Zim, even on a swing trade. I wouldn't. I think it's going to pull back. It's what it's looking like to me. The one thing about bulk shipping is that it was in vogue here, but I think now they're starting to get enough supply in that area. So I think they're going to be more it's going to be more difficult in that area. I don't think it's going to do well. Any market changes because of the next 4 days of the for the Fed? I don't know. I don't know on that one. Hey Jim, F has jumped a lot lately. Do you think? I think earnings on Facebook are going to be spectacular. And I think it's going to probably move higher. But here's the thing about Facebook. Don't buy Facebook before earnings. Don't buy it before earnings. Wait for earnings. Thanks, Kate. Yeah. All right. Do you think this is Open Door Technologies. We looked at that. Hey, thank you. All right. Let's see. We've got this one. Oh, Disney. Okay, great. This is of course, this is a Dow stock. And great stock, Disney. Disney's a great stock. The problem I have with Disney right now is that part of the problem that Disney is that Disney Plus is doing fabulous, but the theme parks are just still struggling. I mean, they are. It is moving better though. I mean, a lot of people want to get out, and I do think they're going to have a huge uptick, but it's going to take about a quarter or two, I think, for the earnings to return to Disney. Now, I did have a trend line on this one. It did pull above the trend line, but it's pulled back down. So I'm a little bit dubious, unfortunately. We've got earnings in 17 days on Disney. Here's what I kind of want to look at. Let's look at the weekly chart to see sort of, it's still in a downward trend. I can't recommend it. Unfortunately, I just can't recommend it. Even it has a 55 checklist. I think for right now with Disney, I think you just need to. I just think you need to not do it. I just think you need to be careful with Disney. All right. Thank you very much. Thoughts on LRGT? Let's look at LRGT. LRGT and did I get that right? Oh, RLGT, excuse me. RLGT. Yeah, there we go. Radiant Logistics, $6 stock. Yeah, it's below the 200-day line. I would avoid this one. Earnings look pretty good. It did have some very nice earnings. It was up 125%. So that's looking good. I mean, the sales are up 33%. The earnings are up 125. That's excellent. But I just don't like this pattern. I just don't like this chart. It's not bad. Transportation logistics, 85 out of 197 in terms of the sectors, but it's got a 50% checklist. I'd skip this one, to be honest. I'd skip it. I just think that they're better. There's better merchandise out there right now. Let's look at Roblox, and of course, this is one of the. This is an IPO, RBLX, and people that are into gaming really love it. I mean, they love Roblox. Unfortunately, though, the chart has not been that kind to it. It's been pulling back. Relative strength is 63. They have earnings in 3 weeks, 21 days. Their last earnings were incredible. I think their earnings are likely to be very good, but it says the 55 checklist. I think you just kind of have to be a little careful and probably avoid it for now. I really think so. I really think you got to avoid it. Okay, well, let's see. Probably last question here from TikTok. Thank you very much for everybody. Did SPY end up? Okay, yeah, let's look at the spider. That's a good one. Let's look at the spider. Let's see how it closed. And of course, the spider is an ETF that tracks the S&P 500, so it's very critical. And we always want to look at this one to see how it does. I want to take a look at the 5-minute chart into the close. Okay, it closed up. That's very nice. 441. This is bullish. This is definitely bullish. As you can see, in the last few days, it was off. Well, it was up. Okay, so it is going to continue its upward trend. So this is a good sign. It looks as if we are moving very, very nicely up. Is this a good time to buy it? Well, I'd probably rather buy it off the reversal. Let's look at the Qs. Take a look. Yeah, the Qs are good too. The appropriate part was to buy it there. Okay, well, everybody, it's been a whole hour. I'll be back tomorrow at 2:30 Central. And but if you'd like to get involved with the Discord room, it's great. We put up special trades there, and I try to help out people out with trades, and some people help me out with trades. We've had a lot of people that have made money in that. All you have to do to sign up for that, of course, is to go to DallasTradingFloor.com, and then just scroll down, and you'll see it. You'll see Discord room, and just hit on that link. Well, until tomorrow at 2:30, happy trading, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. This is going to be a big week of earnings coming up, so we'll have probably a lot of news tomorrow as we get those earnings reports. Also, of course, we are in a confirmed uptrend, so you can come out of cash now. The market moved from a market trend under pressure to a confirmed uptrend. So that's a pretty good deal as well. So everybody, I hope everyone's doing well. Hopefully, it's burning here in Dallas. It's 101 today, but I hope everyone's staying cool. I will see you tomorrow at 2:30. Happy trading.